last game for tonight, guys.
Definitely could be. Will we see something somewhat crazy as Sergeant Hammer here is the question. Will Feliz have anything prepared? I'm not entirely sure though. And if they had prepared Sergeant Hammer, I don't think they'll be willing to play that strategy after seeing what KSV did to Gluck.
Let's see, they have given up the first pick, the Avatar ban. And what are they willing to open up to Ballistix though? Just I think Hanzo ban is a better one. Just taking into account that this is a Battlefield of Eternity, Hanzo will just burst down Immortal so quickly here.
Granted that, but at the same time, if you leave Genji open, then Ballistix can just first pick Uther. They have shown that they are willing to do that in the past, so I think Feliz thought that was the scarier thing to face. Now will Ballistix pick Hanzo though? Because I'm not joking at this point, like SCSC just might say that, you know what, I played Hanzo enough today, let's just leave Hanzo open, play something else, do we even care at this point, let's just pick Greymane, yeah, let's go Greymane. Or, you know, I want to play Vala, let's just play Vala.
Well, 100% Dragon Strike win rate so far in Korea.
So far.
So
there's a trend there, right? Maybe it's the heroic of victory.
well, let's see until next week, and where we have Blaze. I think there will be lots of changes in the drafting system where we have Blaze. I think maybe both of the Shimada brothers will be open all the time. I think Blaze is definitely a ban-worthy hero right now.
I am so excited about Blaze.
Blaze is so good.
Everything about the hero is perfect. I mean, I love the animation.
You just set everything on fire. That's all you do. And Hanzo is picked from Ballistix, of course. They thought about it for a while though. Maybe they were concerning about maybe Greymane, maybe something else, Samro to finish off.
Maybe yes, he was just trolling and saying that he wanted to play Val again. I mean, to be fair, it's one of her best maps, and the field seems certainly open for it. Well, obviously the problem is that Vala can't do much against Hanzo, but so there. And again, Sonya first pick. I really think that this is, you know, just Tanaton's problem, basically. And we can't really, you know, talk too bad about a player who can't really play much else apart from Sonya and Arthas. So those are the hands that Feliz are dealt in every draft, and we should probably analyze the draft accordingly. So meaningless Sonya pick, but inevitable.
Yeah,
and
basically everything else is open for Jungha here.
I would like to see a Malthael pick considering the map. Of course, if he just decides to go for the tried and tested Lyric again, can't blame him. At this point, he can play whatever he likes, and I'm pretty sure that he'll win the lane.
Yes, look at the atmosphere on the screen. There's at the moment, usually they're a pretty serious team when it goes to draft, but today against an easier team, I think they're just having their best time, enjoying this right now.
I think Jungha just said that he wanted to play Junkrat, and the others said no.
Oh, they do have Anubarak and Uther. Junkrat may actually fit in.
Right, it sort of makes sense, sort of.
But as you mentioned, Malthael is banned out by Feliz. Nice pick there.
Right, so overall in terms of their drafts, aside from the nonsensical picks that they are giving to their offlaner, which certainly seem inevitable at this point, I think Feliz have a good mind for the game. Their drafts have been generally on point, but the problem is that, you know, if you always have to give something nonsensical to 1/5 of your team, then it doesn't really matter how well you draft for the rest of the phase. It will always make little sense. So, with that in mind, I'm pretty sure that Feliz will figure out something. I would like to see a Tyrael come out at this point. Tyrael Li Ming sounds like a very good composition to round off on.
Even more Sonya.
And seeing a Muradin picked up again, I really think the tank player also has a hero pool issue too, because Muradin right now, such a subpar pick compared to Tyrael, I feel, to be honest. Against Nubrok, against Uther, against Hanzo, Tyrael is so much better in almost all ways possible.
Yes, especially because, considering what's picked, because very likely the support that's going to be the last pick will be cocooned which means Sanctification can actually provide them a very good, the best protection on all of them. But without that, Muradin may actually fall too. So that's a big concern for them going into this game, as Ali was trying to. Ooh, we do actually have Samuro in game, guys.
Yes.
The second Samuro from Korea.
This is why they were laughing. It wasn't Junkrat, it was Samuro. Not bad, man.
I knew it.
Well, Feliz certainly does not look Feliz. Rhaegar.
And a Rhaegar to finish off the draft.
Well, not much you can do, really.
I think we'll see this. This is deja vu of cocooning Rhaegar and the others getting lots of CC chained. Unless Feliz actually burst all the damage onto Tychus or Hanzo from the beginning. I think that's what they're looking for, but it's not going to be easy.
Right, a burst comp with Greymane, Sonya, and Li Ming on one side. Definitely a lot of potential to, you know, trigger a lot of resets, win a team fight that way. But apart from that, we would probably prefer the right side draft, right? Ballistix seem to be pretty happy with all they've gotten. Pretty excited to see Samuro in action again in the HGC Korea too.
And also when there's Samuro is actually really good against the mage in the back line. You can go harass and also work with your macro on your own. So that's going to be one thing that Li Ming really has to be careful. She may actually go down or be out of the team fight the entire time because Samuro will be harassing her coming out from the side.
It's going to be so difficult to land relevant skill shots, right? As you said. I guess, like, as sort of a consolation, Greymane is going to have an easy time stacking up his cocktails.
Yeah, that is the best thing.
But apart from that, I don't know. Like, Sonya will have a fun time in lane, maybe. But apart from that...
I don't know.
You did it to me!
Well, let's see. From the beginning, it is going to be the scatter arrow build coming out from SCSC, which I think is the right one on this map. And seems like they want to pressure into Sonya once more. They know that Sonya is the weak link, and they want to pressure
putting
the
it
top.
very lightly. It's more than a weak link. Like, what's worse than a weak link? Like, what's flimsier than a link?
Zelda? No, I won't go there. Zelda's actually pretty strong.
Right.
So I won't go to Nintendo all the way, but
You're fired.
thanks, Ranley.
You could have talked about, I don't know, like
See you guys back next week with new casters.
you guys, like, you could have talked about Linkster in the Overwatch League or something like that. I don't know.
Oh well, at least I did beat Zelda last week, so I'm pretty happy about that. But
Meanwhile, I
going
don't even
back
have
into
a
the
Switch, but
going back into the game. This lane swap seems like Sonya's getting bullied a little bit. We don't really see on screen, but it seems from what we can see from the minimap, we do have Samuro pushing the entire lane. I think he's just pressured from game 1 and 2. He didn't really do much. Every time he tried to do something else, he lost it and eventually came backfire on the entire team.
Right. I mean, whenever he tried to do something, it did not end well. So at this point, he might as well just not do anything and just hold his fort. Seems to be going pretty well. Probably the happiest early game for Feliz so far. I know it's only 2 minutes in, but that's how bad the other 2 games went.
OJ has to be careful when there's a tie, because he felt that pain last game and the game before too. And when there's a Tychus, seems like Tychus is really rising up as Vala is basically gone from the meta, and they're looking for some other secondary DPS. And they even had to bring up Sergeant Hammer. And I think it's really staying that Tracer's with Ariel, because Ariel has so many answers against her. Chromie, a big answer against Ariel. I think that's why we don't see Vala as much, Tracer as much. We see Tychus a lot more.
Right, and with the, I think the rise of Taika sort of also has to do with a lot of the newer teams in the league their main tanks oftentimes stick to Muradin for no good discernible reason aside from the fact that they just can't play other tanks that well. So those teams pick Muradin in suboptimal situations, and that leads the better teams to, answer it really easily with a Tychus, which always has been such a strong counter to Muradin. So I think there's that as well, but I also agree with you that, Tychus in general seems to be pretty strong right now with the shifting meta and all. Not so great against Tyrael though, which is why I really wanted to see a Tyrael, although the pick order was different, but still.
Well, they're at least getting some pushes done, and Sonya's already working on that Immortal, but alone. Samro roaming around right now. Seems like they are going for this push all the way in. Aimer trying to look for the kill onto Magi. Hooligan doing a great job of body blocking.
Hooligan really good job, but this is also really good push.
They're using all that they have. They have Greymane. They have the power to push all the way in. It's got to be faster than this. Taika's pushing alone, of course.
Overall, probably the first truly great decision that Feliz has made in this series so far, and although that push came at the expense of losing the Immortals race by a big chunk, I think it was the right move to make. They will get to defend at level 7, something that they probably wouldn't have done. Oh wow, that was a really good blow.
And a focus fire onto Nubrak. Hooligan is blown up, and that will be the first kill going to Feliz this time. It seems like they're having the best one, as they were the one to choose this map too. Maybe it's their favorite coming into the series.
I'm pretty excited about the composition. I mean, Greymane, Leeming, Sonya, they really do have the burst damage going for them. And Ballistix were lax for a small fraction of a second there because, Hooligan was sticking around in the place where he probably shouldn't have been. Magi was assuming that Hooligan wouldn't be in trouble. But now another blow-up is probably going to happen.
There's a
Tychus.
cleanse onto Tychus, but is that healing enough? Muradin does get the Dwarf Hawk, but that's going to cost his life very likely. The reset is here, but no more damage as Greymane is missing from the top lane.
Still, good things happening from the side of Feliz. That team fight may be representative of what's to come post 10, and once Greymane joins the fray, has access to go for the throat if he chooses it, which he probably will. Good things could happen for Feliz finally. And, the Sumuro pick, not seeing the point of the pick so far, aside from Junga getting to have a lot of fun, but obviously the true potential of the hero has not emerged yet. So we'll have to wait a bit longer to see.
And even going all the way in, as Ballistix were also trying to pressure them from taking the entire camp. Summerall will be rotating in and out with the illusions later on. But for now, not doing too much into teamfight, just chunking down Immortal. That does work. Is pretty fast actually with Summerall. Not just Artanis, Vala, and Greymane. Summerall is actually a pretty good Immortal killer in that way.
Overall, still pretty happy about the intelligence of Feliz to recognize that Ballistix really does not have good ranged wave clear, and capitalizing on their massive amounts of poke damage and pretty good structural damage to gain these early leads. However, level 10 is coming up, and Ballistix will have to be even more careful from level 10 on, because I don't really think that Ballistix will have a massive power spike compared to what Feliz will get access to in terms of team fighting.
Let's see as Feliz slowly approaches before the half line, as they want to take advantage of having the small, and they do get the kill onto Samro. That will be the first one.
This is absolutely huge for Feliz. This will probably allow them, unless they do something really unintelligent, because I'm not allowed to say stupid anymore, obviously. I was just warned by phone from Blizzard. Might have happened,
No.
I wasn't. I'm allowed to say stupid, but yeah, unintelligent. Unless they do something like that, then Ballistix probably won't get to take the Immortal.
And they're taking this advantage to fully pressure in, like full court press from basketball here. all the way into their wall, and they just barely hit that. They're going into their own right now with Ballistics. They're taking their chance. Now they do have Cocoon.
It's
Let's
Dragon
see.
Strike again.
This Dragon Strike again, but leaving so out of position.
No.
Oh god, the stun got the most damage from the beginning. Rhaegar cannot.
Oh, that was a really good Dragon Strike. I'll give it to you before you even get to say anything. That was a good Dragon Strike.
Even before the toss was stunned, I think this turns around the entire game.
Oh, that was so
Feliz had
heartbreaking.
their moments until now, but right after 10, how they engaged and how they were positioned. Also got somewhat unlucky with the stun onto Li Ming. And without Li Ming, they can't really have the backfire. All the damage firing from the back line.
And the access to heroics was supposed to be Feliz's power strike, not Ballistix, but unfortunately Li Ming caught off unknowingly there. And now this immortal push is going to be not as huge as Ballistix might have hoped, but oh wow. That's a bit overeager.
Committed it all in onto Magi. Still has Divine Shield available. So they want to go in and take this forward. Maybe go all the way into Odin doing some damage. And Aimer has to escape with one Scatter Arrow. Oh, the multiple hits from Scatter Arrow will actually take the kill off that HP.
Due to the Immortal taking some time to, finish off that fountain, it will be a little bit better than it could have been because, Aimer was chunked down so badly that he had to actually fountain Hearthstone and come back. But the push will end at the keep walls, so Feliz has to feel pretty good about that despite their horrible teamfight loss at the start of
Well,
it.
still, this is a big change. The fact that they went for a Dragon Strike, I think this actually creates an opportunity for Feliz to take a good control of the team fight. Right after dodging all the Dragon Strike, they can come in, and that will be their turn to take an offensive move. And if they get a good control of where Samuro is all the time, where the real one is, of course, and they have Li Ming to break the cocoon off instantly. Their talent down still, but right after hitting 13, I think they still have a very good chance of coming back to the game.
It sort of feels like either Sonya or Greymane really should have taken a bit longer to clear out that bottom wave, then just Hearth back, and then look for a fight on equal talent tiers. So, not entirely sure what Feliz was trying to go for, but Ballistix also decide not to press the issue anymore. And something that we can see in this game from just by looking at the minimap is that Feliz are playing a blow-up comp, and generally, in order for the blow-up to happen, Murden has to get off a good flank, or at least emerge from the shadows to hit a good hammer, right? But the thing is, Samuro sending his illusions out to scout the Fog of War is so effective at, always keeping track of where Murden could be. And, oh, this is going to be bad. Tychus.
Just popped it out. Avatar also ancestral, but which means they cannot be ancestral anymore. There's a good cocoon off already. Dragon Strike already off to the other side. Franco is getting caught by Summer's illusions alone. And on the other side, Greymane was alone, diving in too deep. Maybe he could have got some kills, but good care from the teammates of Ballistix.
Slightly confusing Samuro play at the end there, but overall, as you said, a win for Ballistix. And as you predicted, at the start of the match, Li Ming not able to do a lot, thanks to Samuro keeping such a close watch on her. Also, Murden not in too much danger this time.
Hanzo is coming from the right, does have the border charge to escape all that. Escape all the chase, but I think Feliz, what they're not doing right when they're initiating, first of all, OJ is getting caught too many times, and when there's a Tychus onto the other side, there's not much of a good tool to check the bushes from Feliz. Well, Li Ming may get caught if Li Ming's way too close to it, even OJ does not have the avatar yet now. There's a CC chain, insta cleanse, but the damage cannot be stopped, and that's not going to be enough. Murden dead means they don't have the front line, they just have to escape now.
There's not a lot that Feliz can do when they don't have access to their heroics. They absolutely need the Ancestral's healing to sustain through the Tychus minigun. when they want a full frontal engage like that without like instant blowups. So Feliz will be able to use all their heroics again when they're defending against this Immortal, but the problem is that they won't be fighting at the same talent here.
Ballistix already hit 16 Feliz. They can make a defense. They do have some room, some time, but this is a full 100% shielded Immortal. I think they're trying to end the game here as they're already pushing in, trying to do the damage onto the keep. Some are just harassing onto the other lane, make sure they can't hearth back home or take as long as possible to hearth back home.
Oh, this could definitely be a core, can't it?
And let's see the angle where the Dragon Strike comes in from Huli. Johannaton's trying to come around from the side. Hanzo is cleansed, does manage to escape over the wall.
That was a really good cleanse into really good jump.
Here comes the Dragon Strike actually doing a lot of damages at this one. Actually, maybe the best one ever.
Alright, I'm sold on Dragon Strike. I'm not going to talk badly about that ultimate again. That was really good. That was perfect in its use.
And Immortal still has shield, and this score is going down quickly. And just in a matter of seconds, the game will be over. The third set going to Ballistix, and end of the match, a 0-3, a painful match for Feliz. I feel in both Gluck and Feliz, they tried against the top two teams, so top two teams of Korea. It is their first time in HGC Korea. They were in open division. This is another level, the different class of professional play, individual play. They just came from the amateur level, and it's going to be painful, but lesson learned. I think they have a lot to take from today.
I mean, it must really suck for these two teams to face the weakest teams, which is, well, basically each other, in the league in their opening day, then suddenly having to face, you know, former BlizzCon champions. The disparity, the gap will be absolutely huge, and I just hope that they won't be too shell-shocked. I mean, Gluck especially looked really good against KSV, so they will probably go home somewhat happy, although, you know, if you're a pro, you obviously can't be happy after losses. And Feliz, on the other hand, probably feels a little bit worse after that, but I really think that, you know, it was because it was Ballistix that their obvious weaknesses in the team were exploited so maliciously, even because, you know, they were slow to respond to rotations, and their front line don't have good hero pools. And what team could you really think of that are better exploiting those kinds of weaknesses than Ballistix? So I don't know. I'm pretty sure that they'll fare better against other teams.
They have time. It's only the beginning of HGC. They have the entire year to grow up, to enhance their hero pools, improve individually of making decisions to check the bush or not, where the enemies are. I think they will get a lot better sense at that as they play through all the teams of HGC. It's only the very beginning, the first weekend. Of course, we had this moment last year. It was exactly the same, I believe. And I think they're going to improve. They have lots of rooms. Of course, KSP Black and Ballistix, they look strong. They still look strong. They didn't really have to show their 100% tonight. And talking about 100%, Dragon Strike win rate, 100%.
Still 100%.
Yes.
So, and to be honest, like, until Game 2, it was a meme. But Game 3 sort of sold me. Even before the awesome one at the end of the game that we were all like gushing about, like the two ones used before that were pretty impressive as well. They really did a lot of damage, and it really did hurt Feliz, who didn't really have a lot of follow-up damage after their initial attempt at bursting down one of Ballistix members. So pretty good ultimate after all. Or maybe it's just SCSC being SCSC because he's really good, right?
Yeah, they actually like positioned in a way they were all standing in a line. He was intentionally going back, so it would hit everyone, and he just had a very good. I think he just had a very good moment, even though it was set up intentionally or not. It's one of the things that you can do massive damage or not. So it was one of the best ones I've seen so far too.
Right. I'm pretty excited to see all the great Hanzos that we'll get to see in HGC Korea. We already saw Lockdown really kill it with Hanzo. Today we saw SCSC. Can't wait for who's next.
Oh yes, still 100%. We can't talk about it anymore. Well, until next week, that's going to be it for us. And Ballistix taking 3-0. Clean one. Please learn their lesson. Then, as they may actually listen to us for just to check, as they would love to. They actually, few of the teams love to. They said they wanted some feedbacks from when Wolf and I were casting after the games, and I said maybe next time because we were busy after. But they're willing to learn and take feedbacks to change. That's, I think, the best mindset of going pro, you know. And I wish all the teams do that right after. And
Right.
Feliz, I think that's also a chance. Maybe be friends with Ballistix, try to learn why they were doing this, why ask them questions and learn from their answers. I think because they're seniors here at HGC now.
Yeah, and when it comes to the topic of improvement, as you've been talking about, these teams definitely will improve with time because if we look at Gluck, we think about, Zeron, we think about Mokiway, like seeing them play in the first week of the HGC, you would hardly imagine that they have a huge hero pool problem. They have been performing pretty well. But when you think about their performance in the Open Division, what they were known for before they started competing in the HGC, Mokiway was famous for only knowing how to play Tyrael. Zeron was basically a Sonya one-trick pony as well. But today, they were actually worse at their, preferred at their preferred ponies, and instead their best performances came out from when, Milky Way was playing a Nubarog, when Zeron was playing Dehaka. So the players on Feliz will also enlarge their hero pools over time, and when that happens, Feliz looked like a pretty solid team overall, especially when it comes to drafting, and their team fights, although, sometimes Franco looked a bit off. So, pretty excited to see how these teams will develop. I don't mean to, talk bad things about the teams that we had in the HGC last year, but when we think about teams like RRR or Raven, I think these teams that have newly joined HGC Korea look so much better than those.
I do agree. A lot from HGC, and they have. I think they will improve, and it takes time. That's the only thing I can say right now. And we do see lots of Dragon Strike, even in slow motion for a second, but we're back.
I'm pretty sure that slow motion was intended, right? It's not the computer lagging or anything.
We actually had